first time I saw Casey's face change in the yearbook, I told myself it was the fluorescence, those flickering tubes that make everyone look jaundiced. But then his smile sharpened. His eyes went matte black, like a shark's. I slammed the book shut, my coffee sloshing into the World War II battles mug my wife gave me before she started sleeping in the guest room. The clock above the whiteboard ticked too loud, always too loud now, since Casey swallowed a bottle of his father's oxycodone. The school smelled of pencil shavings and industrial bleach. My third period class doodled while I lectured about the Trail of Tears. Britt Carson raised her hand. "Mr. Halsey, your door's knocking." A sound like knuckles rapping wood, but the hallway was empty. The security camera above my desk, newly installed last month, had a dead zone by the threshold. Mrs. Greeley cornered me at the copier. "We're removing Casey's memorial plaque, distracting the students." Her perfume was cloying, gardenias and chemical sweetener. "The police report's conclusive. Let's not dwell." I stared at the copier's error 34 message blinking red. When I returned to my classroom, someone had written, "You watched," on the whiteboard in dry erase marker. The security footage showed only me standing there for 7 motionless minutes. Britt disappeared on a Thursday. Her mother called during lunch, voice frayed.
"She never came home."
I volunteered to search the school after hours. The janitor's keys jingled as I checked supply closets, the gym, the auditorium. In the basement, my phone flashlight glinted off a padlocked door marked boiler room. Dustless hinges, fresh scratches on the lock. My wife left a note that night. "Staying with Mom. You're not sleeping. You scare me." The house creaked like settling bones. At 2 a.m., my laptop lit up. A Google alert for Britt's name. The article showed her yearbook photo. Her smile had changed. The next morning, Mrs. Greeley intercepted me. "Britt transferred," she said, adjusting her coral necklace. "Privacy laws forbid details." But I'd seen the police cruisers circling the woods behind the football field. I'd heard the garbled intercom announcements every afternoon, voices chanting numbers that matched the dwindling student count. Casey's parents sued the district. When I tried to testify, my subpoena vanished from the mailbox. The courtroom smelled of lemons and burnt hair. The judge dismissed the case. That night, the knocking came again, not at the door, but inside my desk drawer. Inside was Britt's friendship bracelet, beads spelling teacher. They found Britt's backpack in the woods. Inside, a photo of me, circled in red, clipped from last year's faculty newsletter. The police asked about the mud on my tires. My wife brought me lasagna and divorce papers. "Get help," she said. I returned to the boiler room door. The lock opened with Casey's birthday, 04-23. Numbers he'd carved into his desk weeks before he died. The stairs descended further than physics allowed. The walls were claw-marked limestone, a classroom frozen in 1923. Iron desks bolted to the floor, a chalkboard scrawled, with "I will not disobey." Skeletons in moth-eaten sweaters slumped over spellbooks. One wore a locket with Britt's photo. Mrs. Greeley stood in the doorway, a kerosene lantern in hand. "We've always had attendance issues," she sighed. "The school must feed." The fire alarm screamed. Students poured into the parking lot. Smoke swallowed the history wing. Now, the news calls me a predator. My wife sends condolence cards I don't open. But at night, The knocking resumes. Brit's voice whispers through the vents. Assign us homework, Mr. Halsey. We're still here. Investigators ruled the fire electrical. They never found the basement. But my old classroom key fits the padlock on the new boiler room door. I'm grading papers again. The stack never gets smaller.